Welcome everyone. I promise this is going to be an easy to follow sewing tutorial. So this high waist short has an overlapping waistband and a zip fixed on the side, and I'll be teaching you how to do both. Just watch the video from the beginning till the end. Straight to the making process. So we have the front piece and the back piece, and I'll be folding the back piece. So we'll be working on the front piece first. And in doing that, the first thing we'll be doing will be to create our pocket curve, and that will be by marking 5 inches by the side and marking 3 inches downwards, and we'll be using that to get a curve. Now this would affect our dart that we are supposed to take on the front, so we won't be taking the dart because of the shape of the pocket, but there is a way we will still take the dart, and I'll be explaining that later. So we'll be cutting off the curve. Then after doing that, we'll be using that curve to cut out a curve on the piece we'll be using for the pocket. Now this is our pocket. Our pocket cover is placed on opposite ends of both pockets. So we'll be placing that on the front piece we're working on. Now the front piece we're working on is single. We are not working on both front pieces at the same time, and there's a reason for that, and you will be seeing that very soon. So the next thing we'll be doing will be to cut off the curve on our pocket piece. So after cutting off the curve like that, we'll be making a half-inch stitch, and that half-inch stitch will follow the curve. And after doing that, we'll be making our notches. When you sew anything that has a curve and you want it to turn out perfectly well, you have to notch. So after notching, we'll turn inwards like that. Use your pressing iron to straighten things. After straightening things, you will now make a top stitch on the edge like that, or a half-inch stitch like we actually did here. And with that, the pocket is almost 70% ready. All you just need to do is cover up like that. So you see, once you cover up, everything is set. There are many ways of making a pocket, and this is just one of them. Then we'll sew the downline of the pocket. After sewing the downline, we hem the front piece to the pocket on the side like that, and you hem on the edge. After doing 3 of those tasks I just mentioned, we've gotten what we were supposed to get. So as you can see, the downline is sewn, the side and the top. So our pocket is ready. So the main reason why we actually worked on one of the front pieces of the front piece is actually because of the curve. So after getting your pocket, you are not certain your curve is right. So you'll be using the other piece of the front piece to get your curve to be perfectly what you cut out from your measurement cutting. So I'll be using the other piece to trim the pocket to the right measurement. On making the pocket of the second piece of the front piece, you will now be using the initial front piece you've already trimmed to the right measurement to trim the second piece also. So that is why you don't just do both pockets at the same time. You do it one after the other, so you can actually get the shape and the right measurement you actually cut out from the beginning. So as you can see now, we've succeeded in making our pockets for both of our front pieces, and they are of the exact measurements we took while we were cutting initially. So the next thing we'll be doing will be to attach our back piece to our front piece, and we'll be doing that with a half-inch stitch. Now while sewing our back piece to our front piece, we'll also be giving allowance for the zip placing. The zip will be placed on one of any of the desired sides of this attachment that is to be made. So as you can see, we are done with sewing, and we've given our space of 6 inches on the right hand side of the attachment we made. So after joining that side, we'll just be joining the other side. So we'll not be working on the zip yet. We would have finished attaching both legs of the shorts before we start working on the zip. So you can see the allowance given for the fixing of the zip, and that is that. So the next thing will just to be sewing the other part. So after sewing the other part, this is what we got. So the space for the zip is still there, but we'll be going straight to joining both legs, and that will be joining both points at the intersecting point like that. So when you do that, you can use a pin or a hem to hold it. So after holding it, you can start the stitching from one of the tops to the other top. That's from one waist, from the front waist to the back waist, or from the back waist to the front waist, like that. So after joining the underlining line, you can see our dart. So our dart on the back now is the normal dart cutting, but on the front, since the pocket didn't allow us to make our dart, so we increased the stitch on that part by additional half inch. So that is where we actually fixed our dart now. So at the center point, we increased the stitch that joined both legs together by additional half inch. So we can get our exact measurement. So in fixing the zip, I want you to listen carefully now. So while fixing the zip, the way we join both parts to the zip is differently. For the first part, you just join the zip like that to the left part of the material, turn, and you sew as close as possible to the teeth of the zip. You sew as close as possible to the teeth of the zip. Then you stop at the mark you gave. So after doing that, you'll get something exactly like this. So after getting something exactly like this, now in fixing the other part to the zip, this is actually different. Now we are fixing this zip to make it look in form of an invisible zip. Actually, this is not an invisible zip. So what you do now is you bend that part by half inch, use it to cover the entirety of the zip. So that part is just like the flap that is covering the zip. So you bend it by half inch or even more. But if your measurement does not allow you to bend more than half, just bend by half inch. Use it to cover the zip, and after covering the zip, make a 1/4 inch stitch on top of the zip like that from the material. Make a 1/4 inch inch stitch on top like that, and that will just help you to hold the material and the zip down. And that's that. So as you can see, that is serving like a cover flap on the zip, and it is making it look like an invisible zip. So for the band, you just be folding like that, and you stitch from the top to one. Or so after stitching by 1.5 inch and I stop there, where I stop will actually be where I will start in fixing the band to the waistline. So I'll just insert the waistline into it like that. Now there are many technicalities in fixing a band to a female short. I'm not using a curved band, I'm using a straight band. So if you are doing yours, you will be encountering some difficulties, and I will give you procedures on how to overcome them. So why sewing? You just impute half inch of the waistline into the band and you sew. But what you will discover after sewing is that it won't be straight. There is a way you now straighten things. But before then, you just make sure you impute every single part of the waistband from the beginning of that point you stopped for your overlap till the end of the zip. When you get to the end of the zip, you fold the band inwards and you top stitch like that. You fold the band inwards and you top stitch. You fold it inwards and you top stitch. So as you can see, we've gotten it. But before we got it perfectly right like this, after sewing or after joining the band to it like that, it won't be straight. You'll be seeing some ruffles, and you won't actually want that to be your finished product. But there's a way you overcome it, and I'll show you now. So that is our overlapping band, and that is our zip, that is our downline and the pockets. Now for you to overcome that folding, you use your pressing iron to press first, press everything, press the band. So you'll be getting half of what you want it to look like, but that won't actually be it. But for you to now get the band to be straight after sewing the down, which you did initially, the next thing you will do now is to open the button. Use your hands to arrange it and sew it on the top. Hold the stitch should hold the upper and the down part of the band together, and everything will straighten out. So that's just the trick. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on my next video, and until then, God bless you guys. Subscribe if you haven't, and keep supporting the channel. God bless you.